Hey guys, Justin Bryant here from selfmadesuccess.com. In this video, I'm going to show you 15 websites that pay you $200 plus to write a blog post or an article for them. So this is per article, per blog post. This isn't like writing a bunch of them or writing something that's like an entire book. It's just one post and they will pay you around $200 or more for each one. And these are 15 sites that will do that. So if you want to make money writing, if you want to start earning some extra income, these are some websites you definitely want to check out. The first one is Photoshop Tutorials. So if you go to Photoshop Tutorials and their website, they have a place where you can actually submit tutorials. They will pay you. They have a wide range of what they will pay you, but if you do a quick tip, you can earn about 50 bucks. If you do a full tutorial, as you can see, you can make 150 to $300. So um, you could make that $200 or even more. You can make up to 300 just for one tutorial on Photoshop tutorials. So this is all about um, Photoshop. Obviously, it's very straightforward. You're doing tutorials about how to use Photoshop for art, for photography, etc. So if you know a little bit about Photoshop, then you might consider doing some articles or some tutorials for this website and earning pretty good money. Number two is the Travel Writer's Life. So the Travel Writer's Life is a website that's all about the business of getting paid to travel. So basically, you're making money while traveling, and if you want to write for them, you could make as much as $50 to $200 per article. And these are some of the writer's guidelines. I'll have links to these pages for you, but the writer's life is all about traveling and making money while doing it, which has become kind of a big trend that people want to follow these days after books were written like the 4 Hour Work Week and stuff like that, where you kind of have a lifestyle design interest. If you're into that kind of stuff, you might want to write for them and get paid up to $200 per article. Um, and it's all about, like I said, traveling the world while actually making money from a business. Another thing you can do is Cracked. Cracked is another website that pays you pretty well for writing for them. And if you go to Cracked, it's kind of like a just a general news and general. They talk about all kinds of different things on Cracked, and they also do a lot of humor and stuff like that. Talk about celebrities, TV shows, and stuff a lot too. Um, you can see some of these uh, things that are viewed the most right now. You have something about Chris Pratt, an actor, some other celebrities, stuff on Netflix, things like that. Just kind of entertainment type of articles. So if you like entertainment type articles, if you like talking about celebrities or things like that, you can get paid $50 to $200 per article and get paid via PayPal. So that's nice. They actually specify that you can get paid via PayPal with Cracked. So if you want to do that, this is the page you kind of read more about how to get paid to write for them, and that will allow you to submit an article to them and hopefully get paid up to $200 for doing so. So it's very like clever articles, stuff about entertainment, celebrities, and things like that. Number four is Treehouse. So Treehouse pays you as well, and you can make money from Treehouse basically by writing articles for them where you cover design slash freelance type stuff. So when it comes to coding and things like that, that's one of the main search topics. As you can see on there, they have WordPress, CSS, design, JavaScript, Ruby, Android, stuff like that. So when you're into programming and things like that, you could really make some good money by submitting articles to Treehouse, and they accept a lot of different topics, but like I said, mostly freelancing and coding and things like that. So you can also earn $100 to $200 per article. So Treehouse is another one you might want to look at. You may have to actually submit it directly to the editors, though. So just keep that in mind. I don't think they actually have a specific page where you submit your articles, but they do pay pretty well as far as that goes. And if you know a lot about coding, you know a lot about freelancing and things like that, design, then they're a great option. Number 5 is called Tuts Plus Code. So basically it's coding tutorials is what it basically stands for. And if you want to do this, you can actually make money by submitting articles, and this is through the Envato Market brand, which does all kinds of stuff like plugins, WordPress, website themes. They do coding, they do all kinds of stuff. So they cover all kinds of, basically anything computer related. And Tuts Plus Code allows you to make up to $250 per article and as little as $100, but you have a nice range of, a very high pay per article. And obviously it's all about things like PHP, HTML5, CSS, and things like that. So you can do a quick tip tutorial, which will pay you $100. And of course, this page will tell you more about the specifics, but a quick tip is $100, $250 for a complete tutorial, and that's a little more in depth. But if you know a lot about, programming and things like that, then you might want to do Tuts Plus Code. Number 6 is Write Naked. So Write Naked is another one that you might want to do some guest blogging with because they tend to pay pretty well. If you want to write for them, you can get paid $50 to $200 per post. You can see it's very easy to find their page to be a guest writer. It's in the top header menu up here, as you can see, highlighted in red here. And they mostly cover things like having a writing business, if you write for a living and things like that. So if you are a blogger or you write books or whatever it is related to writing for a living, maybe you're a freelance writer. They also have interviews with a lot of writing celebrities and people like that, authors, journalists, etc. They do a lot about publishing. Anyway, it's pretty much everything that has to do with writing for a living. And if you have a passion for writing, or you know just enough about it to where you think you could write a good article for it, then come to this page where you write a guest post and get paid, and you will be able to submit an article here and get paid up to $200 per article. So that's some pretty good pay. It's related to writing, so if you're into that, then definitely go to Write Naked and their website. Number 7 is International Living. So this is more of a travel type of website, of course, and Basically, it's all about living overseas. So maybe if you're a US citizen, but you decided to move overseas in Europe or Asia or somewhere else, you might have a really nice perspective that they would want to hear from. And you could write articles for them, and they actually are one of the highest paying per post of the ones on this list, or any of the ones I've actually seen that pay you per blog post. They pay you between $250 and $400 per article, and it's all about living and retiring overseas. So a lot of times that means, you live in a country, but then you, like the US, and then you retire or you go and live somewhere else in another country, and that is the type of stuff they want to cover. So if you have experience doing that, maybe you are a US citizen and you decide to move, you know, to South America or overseas somewhere, Europe, then that's the kind of stuff they're looking for. Number 8 is SitePoint. SitePoint pays you to write articles as well. So if you want to try that out, they're more into like tutorials and stuff that has to do with coding. So as you can see, coding is one of the bigger trends as far as websites that pay you pretty well per article. They love to hire people to do tutorials that are very in depth about how to program different things. And because programming is so vast and there's so many different languages and so many different applications for it, you really can't run out of ideas for articles. So if you can come up with some great ideas that haven't really been covered yet, then you can get paid $150 to $200 per article on SitePoint, covering things like HTML, CSS, etc. You can come to this page here and it tells you exactly what you can do. I'll have a link to this page for you in the show notes, but they'll tell you kind of what they expect and how to submit. They also have writing guidelines that you need to follow. But like I said, you can make $150 to $200 per tutorial that you write for them. Number 9 is called Metro Parent. So Metro Parent's another one. It's a little different. So if you want to write about things that are a little different, like parenting, as far as how you raised your child or how you dealt with different situations as they were growing up and things like that, then you can write for Metro Parent. You can earn $35 to $350 per post. And they tell you, some of the guidelines here on this page. It's called the Write for Us page. And they publish monthly. Their magazine does. They have all kinds of different things. They tell you about your payment. They're very specific, which is nice. It features 1,000 to 2,500 words. They'll pay you $150 to $350 depending on the complexity of the topic. They also allow department columns, parent pipeline pieces, reprints, and things like that. So they have all kinds of requirements you want to look at, formatting that you need to look at. But if you want to write about parenting and get paid a lot of money per article, then you want to go to metroparent.com. Number 10 is called A List Apart. So if you go to alistapart.com, you'll end up on this page. You can go straight to the top menu here and click Write for Us. And you can learn a little bit about what they expect if you want to write for them and actually get paid to do it. They pretty much just pay a flat fee of $200 per article if it gets accepted. So you can read through here, see what they want. It's all about just the internet, basically. They talk all about all kinds of things related to the internet. And so you might want to read some of their articles to kind of get an idea of what stuff gets published here, but it's basically all things internet related. Whether it's business, whether it's user experience, whether it's design, coding, all that type of stuff is covered on A List Apart. So $200 per article if you get accepted. They tell you what they're looking for here. This page pretty much covers everything you need to know. So I'll have a link to this page for you. It's at alistapart.com. You can also just go there to the Write For Us tab and look it over yourself. But number 11 is called Tuts Plus Vector. So I covered Tuts Plus code earlier, and this is all more about vectors and things like that. So they have a lot of related type of industries that they cover. They also do another one that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, but they all pretty much pay between $50 and $200 or so. Vector pays $50 to $200 specifically for each article, and these are all about vector tutorials, obviously. So this has to do with like Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, Corel Draw, and things like that. Those type of vector related tutorials. If you know a lot about that type of stuff, you're familiar with things like Adobe Illustrator, Inkscape, and things like that. These are the types of tutorials they're looking for, and they will accept multiple articles if you're doing pretty good for them, and you can make quite a bit. $50 to $75 per quick tip tutorial, $150 to $200 per regular tutorial. So if you know a lot about vectors, read over this page, get some ideas, and submit some articles, and you can get paid pretty well from them. Number 12 is Tuts Plus WP, which basically stands for Tutorials for WordPress. So WordPress, of course, is one of the most popular website platforms now. My website runs on WordPress. Pretty much every major blog runs on WordPress, and it takes up between 25 and 30% of the entire internet now. So they have plenty of websites with WordPress tutorials and stuff like that, but WP Tuts Plus actually pays you between $60 and $500 per article. That's up to $500. So if you do like a quick tutorial, like a quick tip type thing, you can get paid, $60, maybe $100 or something like that. And then once you get more to like a premium level, you can make $300 to $500 for premium level tutorials and screencast. A screencast is basically what I'm doing right now, where I do a video and you watch my screen instead of just me standing in front of a camera. So that's kind of a breakdown of their pay. $150 per tutorial for the first month, $175 per tutorial for the second month onward, $60 for a quick tip, so that wouldn't be a full lengthy tutorial, $300 to $500 for premium level tutorials and screencasts. So you can expect to make almost a full-time living just doing tutorials for them if you do it right. So I'll have a link to this page for you, how to do tutorials and how to submit them. And like I said, they're one of the higher paying ones with up to $500 for premium tutorials. Number 13 is DigitalOcean. So DigitalOcean, if you go to digitalocean.com, you can look to submit some articles for them. And basically, they're all about Linux. So that's just a type of operating system, If you've ever used something like a Raspberry Pi, which is like a miniature cheap computer that you can turn into media boxes and stuff like that if you want, or all kinds of stuff. Anyway, Linux applies to a lot of different things, and if you know about Linux, you can get $50 to $200 per article, and you get paid via PayPal. some of those don't really tell you how you get paid, or they have multiple ways for you to get paid. But with DigitalOcean, they pay you via PayPal, so it's very easy and straightforward. And it's all about written tutorials about Linux and FreeBSD, cloud hosting, things like that. Basically tells you right there on the Get Paid to Write page. And of course, I'll have a link to this page for you. You need to fill out this little box here to apply to write for them. They're looking for, a friendly, concise, informative style, correct and comprehensive commands, technical expertise and best practices, and a clear explanation. So if you're good at writing tutorials that are very easy to follow and understand, but still have plenty of detail, that's the type of stuff they're looking for. And you want to fill it out, put your name, email, community username, whatever, if you have one, things like that. And hopefully you can get approved and make up to $200 per article. Number 14 is Smashing Magazine. So Smashing Magazine, they also allow you to write for them and get paid, obviously, or they wouldn't be in this video. But they're more related to design, coding, user experience, those types of things. That's a very common trend with the ones that pay you the most money. Is usually it has something to do with programming and stuff like that, because that basically is the future of everything in our world. That's basically how the internet is structured. That's how software is structured. That's how programs are built. That's how apps are built. I mean, if you know coding, that is one of the most valuable skills you can have. I mean, I can't stress that enough. So you will always have a future if you know coding, and this is just an example of how you can make money from a lot of these websites just writing for them and telling other people how to do stuff. They pay $50 to $200 per article here on Smashing Magazine, and you can submit articles related to web design, graphic design, UX design, WordPress, mobile app design, all that type of stuff. So if you know anything about that, you can see some other examples: HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and you can go through here and see how authors get paid, what their approval guidelines are, and things like that. So as far as that goes, Smashing Magazine's another great option for getting paid pretty well to write each article. And last but not least is a Fine Parent. So Fine Parent, we have covered another parenting site earlier. This is just another one. So if you're good with things like that, parenting, you have a lot to say about that, you feel like you're a pretty good parent, you feel like your kids have turned out pretty well, then you can write for a Fine Parent if their submission window is open. So sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. They kind of fluctuate as far as when they accept articles, but if they are open, you'll just need to check this page every once in a while, and you can write an article. You get paid $100 per article via PayPal, which is nice, of course, but you can also earn a $200 bonus. So that's why it's on this video, because you can get paid $100 usually, but they also have a $200 bonus if it performs very well. So they tell you more about the details here on this page, and of course they have a submission window that's not always open. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind, is they're not always going to be available for submitting new articles. But if you know a lot about parenting and you want to get paid to write per blog post and get paid $200 or more, this is a good option for you at some point. So other than that, that's it for this video. I hope these websites help you. I hope they give you some ideas. If you got something from this video that you thought was valuable, please like and subscribe so I can create more videos like this for you. Also, if you want to let me know about some other sites that pay $200 or more, or you want to let us know about your about your experiences with any of these sites, or you want to let me know what you thought about the video, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and get your feedback and add to these topics for people so we can get the most out of them. And other than that, I'll have all of these show notes, links to these pages where you apply, these more information pages, related content to this video. All of that stuff will be on the show notes page at selfmadesuccess.com under the same title as the video. And I will also have a link to that page in the video description for you. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.